Hey guys, it's me Laura. So in a minute you're going to see me look rough as all get out because I'm not going to have any makeup on, but that's okay. I'm going to go over with you guys today a do's and don'ts, kind of, on a flawless face. And pretty much I'm just going to tell you what to do, and I'm going to show you guys how I apply my foundation and give you tips and tricks along the way as far as everything from starting from bare face and skincare to setting the foundation in the end. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and find it helpful. I hope you guys don't think that I am trying to dumb it down or anything, and I'm not offending anyone by starting from the basics, but I've honestly had a lot of requests to do a very basic video where I start from the absolute beginning and act like no one knows anything about makeup. So I hope you guys find it helpful. But anyway, let's jump right into it. Okay, so our number one thing getting our flawless face is going to be starting off with skincare. That's where it really starts, is having the proper skincare for your skin type. Like if you have oily or dry or combination skin, you need to find products that work for you. A product line that I really enjoy is the Nip&Fab. And these are just a couple of my favorite products. One of these is the Nip&Fab Exfoliate. It's the Glycolic Fix Serum. I love this. If I use this, I don't use it on a daily basis. And this is a Nip&Fab Dragon's Blood Fix Plumping Mask. That's a mouthful. This is one of the only masks that I've ever tried that I have actually been able to see the results literally right after taking it off. If I read Dragon's Blood Fix Plumping Mask, I would be like, what? But if you look on the back of their products, then it gives you directions that are very simple, and it gives you, it breaks down like the products that are in it, and it actually tells you what each one of them does. So like in this one, the hyaluronic acid, I don't know how I'm saying that, hydrates for plumper looking skin, amino acids brightens the skin tone, and the Dragon's Blood comforts and restores through skin hydration. I probably should tell you guys that I have more of a drier skin. I'm just going to quickly go over some of these products as far as skincare that I personally have been enjoying, and they are affordable. The E.l.f. Hydrating Bubble Mask. I have been really enjoying this, and I do this at least every other day. Is the one thing that I've ever tried that really cleans out my pores. So just be sure that you have your skincare routine down, okay? Also, I want to make the point to say, just because if you buy a new product and you've tried it once or twice and you can't see a difference, do not give up on that product. And it takes a good 2 weeks, if not 1 month, to tell if I'm really going to enjoy a skincare product. Moving on, the next step to get a flawless face is using the right tools. So if you're using a cream product like a liquid foundation, then depending on what type of foundation you're using, which will lead me into the next step of my flawless face, depends on what tools you should be using for that foundation. So I personally like more of the dewy, textured, lightweight foundations. A couple of my favorite, which if you guys have watched me for any amount of time, you'll already know this, but my Maybelline Fit Me, and they have a matte and poreless, and they have a dewy and smooth. I get the dewy because my skin is dry. Also, I like the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. Some people have mixed feelings on this one. A lot of people are really liking the Infallible Full Coverage, and I honestly have not tried that out. It looks a little bit too matte for me, what I've seen other people apply it, and then it looks like. Plus, I'm not 100% into full coverage makeup, just because sometimes the more full coverage, it seems like the more drying and the more texture you can see on your face. Now if you have got oily skin or combination skin, then the dewy look may not be for you. You may want a more fuller coverage foundation, or you may want a, I'm jumping into the next part of my thing. But anyway, it'll all go together. But let's jump into the tools real quick. One of my favorite affordable brushes to put a foundation on with is my Expert Face Brush by Real Techniques. And it is the right density, it's the right shape. I can apply this really quickly on my face, and it gives me a flawless finish when I have buffed it into my skin. I like to use a brush with most of the time with my Pro Glow foundation, just because this is more of a liquidous foundation. It's got a thinner texture to it compared to my Fit Me. So I feel like using a damp sponge kind of brings out too much moisture when I apply this. And then I always like to apply my Fit Me with my damp sponge as well, just because it kind of gives me some of that extra moisture. So for those of you who want a more fuller coverage look, I would probably apply with a brush. You don't need to be applying it with anything fluffy. I know this is obvious because this is a blush brush, but I've had people request on the do's and don'ts to be very, very basic. So don't take offense. I'm just going to the basics, okay? Number one, it's going to eat up all your product, and number two, you're not going to get that flawless finish because it's going to be too busy soaking this up to actually apply it to your face. Even if your skin is oily, do not be afraid to use a damp beauty blender, because even if you have oily skin, your skin needs some moisture. I know that sounds crazy. Sometimes it's not so much about what product you're using. You can have a great product and apply it with the wrong tools and it comes out looking horrendous. Anyway, back to the do's and don'ts. Everyone should be moisturizing. Even like I said earlier, if you've got oily skin, you should still be using some type of moisturizer. Sometimes people have oily skin because their skin is so dry that it overproduces oil. And a couple moisturizers that I have really been liking that are affordable are the Neutrogena Hydra Boost, and it is water-based, but it doesn't have that creamy, oily texture once you have applied it to your skin. It absorbs, it doesn't just sit there. So those of you who have oily skin, I would use a moisturizer that is water-based, such as that. That is an affordable one that is water-based. It's really hard to find one that texture that is drugstore. But that one I absolutely have loved. But this is the E.l.f. Daily Hydration Moisturizer. It is more of a creamy based moisturizer. And when you apply your moisturizer, you should be applying it right before you apply any makeup, okay? And don't apply your moisturizer and then you can feel your skin and it's still really tacky. Don't apply your foundation right then. You need to give that time for that moisturizer to really soak in and do its job. Because if you're just going to keep layering, then your makeup's going to fall off by the end of the day. My next thing is going to be primers. This is my favorite drugstore primer. This is a pore filling primer. There are different primers out there for all different skin types, no matter what your need is. I have got a lot of texture in my T-zone and some on my chin. Number one, if you find one for you that fits your need, it's going to make your makeup look even more flawless. Number two, it is going to provide another layer of protection between your skin, your pores, and your makeup. Meaning, I'm not just going to throw on my foundation right on top of my bare skin and let that foundation really get into my makeup or my pores, causing breakouts and everything like that. I'm not going to say it's going to cure your breakouts, because obviously it's not, but it should help, okay? There are color correcting primers. There are illuminating primers. There are pore filling primers. There are primers that will make you matte. There are primers that will make you dewy. And there are just different ones for everyone. So today I am going to be applying my Infallible Pro Glow. Another tip is going to be one that probably everyone knows, but maybe not everyone follows. And that's going to be, you can always apply more, but it's harder to take away. So when applying your foundation like this, if you don't work by section, I just apply it all over and then blend it in. I apply and you'll get to know how much you need. But when you're first beginning to work with a product, you need to apply a little bit because you can always go back and add more. So like I said earlier, this particular foundation I would apply with a brush just because it is so illuminating and dewy. But my skin has been extra dry lately. Okay, so now that I've got my foundation applied, I want to go over with you really quick how to correctly shade match. Test it on your neck, okay? Your neck is going to be what you want to match. So also you want to be sure and be setting your foundation. I am not going to go over that because that's part of my contouring highlighting video, which is is my very first video that I posted on here, and that kind of goes over all of that good stuff. I set under my eyes and everything like that. Now, if you have got oily skin, I would set my foundation everywhere. And you can do so using a translucent powder. And I like the Airspun loose translucent powder. The smell, mind you, is horrendous. It smells like old lady. No offense to old ladies out there. But it's just like, okay, it reminds me of one of those like grandma scents whenever an older person walks by you and it's been 10 minutes yet their perfume is still with you. And it is horrible. However, I left the top off of mine for a few days and the smell did not completely go away, but it did help a lot. So that one I really like. It's affordable. Maybelline Fit Me also has a powder. They're setting powders that I like. They're a pressed powder. The Milani face powder I also really enjoy. So that is my tips on flawless foundation. I'm going to do the rest of my face really quick and then I'll come back here and I'll close with you guys. And anyway, I'll be right back. So that concludes this video. I went ahead and did my full face. If anyone's wondering what is on my eyes, it is the Tarte Maneater palette. Anyway, I plan on doing a do's and don'ts for pretty much everything. I can do do's and don'ts for the rest of my face, like contour, highlighting, blush, and all that good stuff. I kind of feel like we've already been there and done that though, because I've already done a video on contouring and highlighting, but I promise I will do one on eyeshadow and eyes and stuff like that. I just knew that if I try to fit everything into one video, then it was going to be forever long and no one would want to watch it. So, and no one would want to edit it. So that being said, I plan on breaking this do's and don'ts thing up into a couple videos for you guys. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and I appreciate your support and have a good day.